Well, good afternoon, and welcome to our second First Four News Conference in Blacksburg. Tomorrow night's 9 o'clock tip will feature the Vanderbilt Commodores and the at-large Columbia Lions out of the Ivy League making their first NCAA tournament appearance. And we are joined here on the days from farthest to nearest to me by Abby Shue, Cecilia Collins, and Kitty Henderson. We'll be taking questions here in the conference room as well as on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, raise your hand and I will unmute you and address you. If you are asking a question, please provide your name and media affiliation when you ask that question. And to everybody in the room, recording video of press conferences is prohibited. So we will go ahead and open up the floor for questions. None here in the room. We'll wait for some questions on Zoom, but I want to ask you all this. Of all of the reactions I saw during the selection show on Sunday night, I think this group's was the most fun to watch. I'm not sure if you even knew that the camera was in the room, because it didn't look like it. Everybody just celebrated totally unaware of what was going on. But describe that moment to get to this point after coming so close last year. You got here this year. We'll start with Abby on the far side.
Yeah, I keep telling everyone I'm going to remember that moment the rest of my life. I think our celebration just sums up the type of team we are. I think we had a bloody nose and everyone's just tackling each other, but we were just so happy, and to be able to do it with this group, it means so much. And like you said, like what we've been through the last couple of years, it's just it's a long journey coming, and we're just so excited to head into this tournament.
And Cecilia, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that day was kind of a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. So ending off on that high note was definitely a lot better of a feeling. But yeah, like Abby said, this team is just super special. So I'm just super excited to get going in the tournament. And we know the job's not finished. We want to do some damage. So.
Kitty, how about your experience on Sunday?
Yeah, they said it pretty well, but I think, there was all sorts of emotions in that room. There was tears, there was happiness, there was everything, and I think it just summed up, like, our love for each other and the way that we've worked so hard to get to that moment. I think that last year, obviously getting so close, I think it meant that much more this year. But, yeah, like C said, we're ready to go, and we know the job's not done.
So you're ready to go, but on a really short turnaround. You've got to travel. You've got to get here to Blacksburg. You're probably not going to have time to get on the court until today. What has the preparation process been like for Vanderbilt? Kitty, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we are very lucky. We have an insane coaching staff that will literally study the other team until 4 a.m. or whatever it takes. So they've prepared us really well. We've obviously got our scouts, and we're ready to go with their actions and their personnel, and we've obviously been watching film as well. But I think there's also a big focus on us and what we need to do in this game. So as much as you can look at the other team, I think you also have to think about what actions you're doing, and that's kind of what we've been focusing on ourselves and how we're going to attack the game and how we're going to play our best basketball together.
Do they mind that you'd call them an insane coaching staff?
No, they know that that's a good thing. We love crazy people at this program.
Cecilia, you're new to the fold for this season. Obviously, this is a university that has great academic tradition and reputation, but what did you think you were getting into when you came to this program?
Yeah, I've talked about it before, but even the first time I talked to Coach G, I knew this program was something special. The way that she was able to transform this program in a few years even, and just looking back and watching them and how connected they were last year, even despite not making the tournament. Like I said, it's just special. So being able to come here in my first year and make the tournament is obviously something I'm super grateful for, and that wouldn't have happened without them. So,
Abby, for you being here for the long haul with this program and culture building and building to this moment, what has this meant for you to see it come to fruition, to see this NCAA tournament berth come out of your hard work and the hard work your team has put in?
Yeah, it means a lot. When Coach G was recruiting all of us, she had this vision in mind and knew that, this program was capable of it. So just to see her blueprint kind of come to life, it just means so much. And every team I've been a part of here, all the seniors that have graduated, they're a part of this just as much as we are. They've helped build this just as much as we did. So it's so, like Coach G always says, it's hard to do something for the first time as a program, but it's so worth it to go through all that hard stuff. So I'm just so happy to be part of this program.
We'll take our first Zoom question from Mark Berman of the Roanoke Times. Mark, you are unmuted.
Congratulations, guys, on making it to the NCAAs. Abby, I was curious, why do you think, what is about this year's team? Why was this the team to get that goal accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just the young girls that have come in and like the players like Cece, like our transfers coming in, we're just so mature at every level. So I think I also want to give the credit to the seniors that graduated last year. They've kind of helped build this culture, and I think we withheld it and almost like stepped it up a level this year. So I think just learning to play together, and I don't really see our freshmen as freshmen. I think they've came in and made an impact right away. So I think just having those types of players around you, it really makes us a better team.
Are you guys annoyed that you have to play a first 4 game and can't go right to the round of 64, or are you okay with having to play tomorrow?
Oh yeah, we're totally fine with that. I mean, we kind of see this as a revenge game. You know, we've played Vanderbilt in the past, and we're just super, grateful for this opportunity. So we'll play any day of this week. So we're just happy we get to continue our season with this team.
For the folks around here that'll be coming to the game tomorrow, I mean, do you think this be a fun game to watch? Will you be a fun team to watch?
Let's go with Cecilia, then Kitty on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a pretty fun team to watch, if I do say so myself. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a competitive game. I mean, obviously, Vanderbilt's a good team. Any team that gets into this tournament is a very good team. So, like we said before, we're going to come in prepared and ready to go. But, yeah, I think it'll be a good game.
And Kitty?
Yeah, echo that. I mean, I think Abby's been talking about our culture, and I think you can see that in the way that we play together. So, yeah, we're looking forward to showing you that tomorrow, and it will be a good game to watch for sure.
All right, Rob, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Rob Brown, Ivy Hoops Online. This is for all the players. Talking to Coach G week in and week out, it always seems to be the wins are, the team followed the plan, and when things don't go well, it's like, they didn't follow the plan. Kitty, you mentioned it a few minutes ago that the coaching staff is going to get you prepared. How do you guys make sure that you do your thing, you follow the plan to the T?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always say that we fall back on our preparation, and so I think it does start with practices like today and even practices that we had yesterday. I mean, you have to kind of get into the groove and kind of set that standard in practice. So we've been doing that all week, obviously, and then also just like mentally preparing ourselves. I think that's a really big thing as well, and knowing the game plan in your head so that when you are like obviously have pressures and the defense is on you, like you know what you're doing and you're calm in that moment. So I think that preparation is a really big part of that.
Yeah, and obviously going off what Kitty said, I think a lot of times when we're not sticking to that game plan, we're just getting disconnected. So just making sure like we stay connected like the whole entire game, bringing each other in, even if it's after a turnover or whatever, missed shot, making sure that we stay connected and, keep reminding ourselves what we're supposed to be doing.
Anything else, Rob?
Yeah, just I guess for Kitty and Abby, any recollection from the game last November? I mean, I know Sasha Washington was the only main player to come back for this game on Wednesday, but do you remember the pace or the style that Vanderbilt played?
We'll start with Abby and then Kitty.
Yeah, obviously we did like review that game and everything, but I think what's unique about this year is like we're a pretty different team, and I think they're a little bit of a different team. So, yeah, I mean, we know the players that were there last year. We've studied their games, so we are, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Abby said, we are two really different teams to last year, but I think the biggest thing that Abby also mentioned before is this is kind of like a revenge game. I don't think we gave them our best last year, so I'm definitely looking forward to giving them that tomorrow.
Brad Lake from WNBA Swish, go ahead.
Hi, ladies. Brad from WNBA Swish. Can you speak of the Ivy League championship game? You ladies played a really hard-fought game against Princeton. What did you learn from that game, and how are you going to prepare for tomorrow's game?
Let's start here with Kitty.
Yeah, I think, we did fight really hard in that game, but I don't think that we stuck to our culture and our, the way that we want to play. So I think we actually learned a lot from that game, and I'm sure that we're going to put those things into this game this week. So I think the main thing, C kind of touched on this, but just being connected and staying with each other, especially after mistakes. It's going to happen, it's inevitable, but I think that the responses you have to those mistakes is the most important thing. And I think that's something that we really learned from that game.
Cecilia?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kitty said it, that game wasn't really up to our standards. So making those key adjustments, and obviously you dive back in and you watch the film and you don't want to dwell on it, but you want to learn from those mistakes. So just like I said, going into that film and try not to make those same mistakes as we did in the Princeton game. But luckily we were given this second chance for the tournament. So obviously we're super grateful and we want to go in with no regrets. So.
Anything else, Brad?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, ladies.
All right, Jillian, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Hi, Jillian Princey with the Columbia Daily Spectator. With this bid alongside Princeton's, the Ivy League is now a two-bid league. What do you think this means generally for the profile of Ivy League basketball on the national stage?
Cecilia, then Abby.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super cool that, obviously a mid-major conference can get a two bids to the tournament. We obviously having our tough non-conference schedule, that obviously helps you a lot. So yeah, I mean, like we said before, we're super grateful, but we all obviously thought that we deserved this chance. And I think Coach G, even after that Princeton game, made a great case for us and why we should have this chance to be in the tournament. But yeah, like I said, we're just super grateful, and I think this goes to show you can't overlook mid-majors.
Yeah, I think Cece said it really well. I think the Ivy League is one of the most competitive conferences in the country, so I think us having a two-bid was a long time coming, and I think we have a chance to prove why we deserve these two bids. And yeah.
Anything else, Jillian?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions via Zoom? Any other questions in the room for our student athletes from Columbia? We'll give Zoom a second. Anybody here been to Southwest Virginia before? Is this first time for most of this crew?
First time.
I played Virginia Tech last year.
With Bucknell?
Yeah, with Bucknell. I think it was our second game, so this is
Okay.
my second time being here. So I'm familiar.
Well, welcome to Blacksburg, and best of luck tomorrow. And those are our Columbia University student athletes, as the Lions will take on Vanderbilt in the first four game tomorrow here in Blacksburg. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Well, Megan Griffin, the 8th season. Get our T's and our
TH, yeah.
TH,
Griffith,
yes.
yeah.
I was looking at 8th and Griffith
It's
at
all
the
good.
same time.
It happens, Family Guy.
But she is Columbia basketball, two-time Ivy League Coach of the Year, and a 2007 Columbia University graduate. We'll open it up for Zoom questions, but I'll start with this. I asked your team about the moment they found out they were in, and what we saw on television was this awesome display of joy. How did you experience it from your seat, and what were your emotions about that moment with your history and with your buildup of this program?
Ooh, it gives me chills just thinking about it. It was so special, and the word joy is it was the purest form of joy I think I could have even, that's the perfect word for it. I was sitting next to our associate coach, Tyler Cordell, and who's my best friend, and, that moment was to be shared, I think, for us. I pretty much tackled her, and when I saw our name pop up, and again, our staff and our players, everybody that's been here since I came back home to Columbia has really helped us pave the way, and it's taken every step that we've taken. That's what I'm most proud of, is that we didn't skip steps to get here. We didn't just get good in a year. It's taken a lot of time. So that was just, an accumulation of 7.5 years of work, and we got to enjoy it in that one moment, which was very special.
I asked Abby about building culture from year to year to year, but last year, after being one of the first teams out to this year, what do you think were the changes in terms of whether it was approach, whether it was scheduling, whether it was, whatever factors to get over the hump and to get in?
Yeah, there's a few. I honestly think we had no national relevance before last year, right? We were talked about a little bit. We had been competitive in the Ivy League. I had coached at Princeton when we went 30-0. Like there was some history with me in this league and being an alum as well. But we took some big steps last year, and we scheduled the way with intention. Like once the net came out, we were like, all right, this is a major deciding factor of getting in the tournament. So we have to make sure we put ourselves in the best possible place, win or lose, but to be in the conversation. And for us to have beat Miami at Miami and then go to the Elite Eight last year, showed me, okay, we're doing the right thing, right? And so this year we had the same model pretty much. Our scheduling coordinator, Ali Bassetti, on our staff, she and I kind of put our heads together and say, who do we need to play to make sure that we're in the conversation when it matters? And that's exactly what we did with intent. But then, I know the committee takes a lot of things into consideration with this. So now we've been talked about, and then what we did in the WNIT last year only showed that us and Kansas being probably the two first teams out and playing at Kansas in front of 12,000 Kansas fans last year and having a close game, I think really helped, again, create that history for us.
We'll go to Mark and then Rob on Zoom. And Mark, if you give me just a moment, I will unmute you, and you're good to go.
Hi, Mark Berman of the Roanoke Times here in the area. Wanted to ask you guys, what are the strong suits of this year's team that's helped you get to the NCAAs for the first time?
We talk a lot about, especially last year's team. I had so much talent on last year's team. We had this amazing talented senior class. And I always say that you recruit what you need, not what you have. So when you're going through the journey, you realize, what are we missing? And one of the young women sitting up here earlier, Cecilia Collins, was exactly one of those people that we were missing, one of the keys. And I remember watching her last year while we were in our run, and she was playing with Bucknell and saying, like, we need to get that kid. And the versatility she provides, her decision-making, her poise, her ability to score, she is one of the reasons I think it all works, is that she gets to put it together for us, much like a Caitlin Davis and a Hannah Pratt did for us. And shout out to Katie. She's in the tournament as a 1 seed for USC. So, for us, again, it was just getting the right personnel and getting better and smarter, honestly.
And USC was sitting right here last year, too.
That's amazing, yeah.
Anything else, Mark?
Do you figure for people coming to the game tomorrow, will this be a fun game to watch? Will you be a fun team to watch?
Most definitely. You're gonna love it. You'll see the intensity and passion that this team competes with. We play a very up-tempo style of basketball. We share the ball at a high rate. We love to shoot it. And when we do, we play defense. It's pretty good. So that's the thing. I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, our team is a lot of fun to watch. We love to get up and down.
Thank you.
Rob Brown, you are unmuted.
Thanks. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Rob.
Saturday night, you talked about the importance of Abby being seen by basketball fans across the nation. When fans tune in tomorrow night, what do you want them to know about Abby, your team, and the conference?
Abby is the epitome of what Columbia basketball means to me, in the perfect embodiment and representation of it. She is the hardest worker in the gym. I remember her freshman year, she won every sprint as a freshman. She worked hard. She was still a phenomenal shooter, but it wasn't about that for her. It was about how do I do things. It was her approach. And, her growth here, it's no coincidence that our program has grown alongside her and gotten to this place, and every year has improved because of her mindset. She's absolutely a pro. She's NBA or WNBA worthy. And I'm hoping everybody gets a chance to see her on a national stage, because she is one of the most special and electric college basketball players right now in the game. And, I think for Columbia, this is just one small step in the right direction for our program. I said when I came back home, I wanted to be a championship program, a sustained championship program, not just a one-off program. And we're trying to show people right now that we can win, and we can win often and frequently. And, I'm excited to compete. I think it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night. And we're ready to get going now.
Iana Moore, Jordan Cambridge were injured, didn't play last year's game against you all. When you look at the team this year versus last, do they play a similar style, number one? And two, how does your strong non-conference schedule in playing Princeton 3 times prepare you to handle a tough defensive team like Vandy?
Yeah, Jordan is a very experienced player. You know, she's been in that program for a while now. She's an elite on-ball defender. And, you know, I think that really helps them, having somebody that knows the game, knows them so well, and thinks the game at a really high level. You know, I think, again, they're different. You know, I think Kitty said that. They are definitely different than last year. But, you know, they're gonna mix up what they do defensively. And, again, for us to have faced, like, to your point, Rob, one of the best defensive teams in the country, and not just this year, but every year, has really helped and prepared us. And, you know, for Princeton to be a 9 seed, which – you know, I have a good feeling for them in their matchup, but you know that only gives us confidence knowing, hey, we know how to pick apart these teams, but we got to do the game plan. You know, our players alluded to that. We got away from that in our championship game, which cost us against a very great, you know, well-coached Princeton team as well. So we're going to be ready for tomorrow. I can tell you that.
And last one for me, Abby played with USA Basketball in the America's Cup last summer. How do you think that experience elevated her game and allowed her to now compete with any player in the nation?
Well, just to be amongst 11 of the other best college basketball players in the game, her just to realize, hey, like, I'm here, right? I think the relevance for her was really, really critical. And the exposure to what USA Basketball does, how it works, the coaches in the game, the experience playing against the FIBA America teams, which are physical and tough and older, you know, for the U.S. to be so young in that tournament, it was a great experience. They got beat up a little bit, I think, you know, but came out and got that silver medal, and it was just a phenomenal, you know, pro experience, which I think really has helped prepare her to take this next step into becoming a more complete two-way player in a future pro.
Okay, Brad Lake, you are unmuted.
Hi, Coach. Brad Lake from WNBA Swish. Was there any moment or moments during the season being in the Ivy League, such a competitive league, when you really saw the team gel and come together and be battle-tested?
Most definitely. You know, I think I can definitely point to our last win over Princeton at home, but I think what was even more important was, you know, we had in our back-to-back games, which, you know, this NCAA tournament, these are quick turnarounds. You know, we played on Saturday and a back-to-back Friday, Saturday. Here we are playing at Wednesday, traveling in between with the potential to play on Friday again and then Sunday, right? So I think the back-to-backs, one of them that I remembered was our Dartmouth-Harvard trip, and you know, we had some players not feeling well, and so did they, and that's just what happens in the course of a season, and you know, you're not going to put blame on that, but to not feel well but do whatever it took, I saw that from our team. I saw a second half effort at Harvard from our team that I hadn't seen, because it was just, they were just making plays to make plays. Like, you could literally see, and Kitty alluded to this, the responses were elite from them. You know, turnover, sprint back, don't let an easy transition bucket. Those are the things that make teams great, right? Is when things don't go your way, how much and how well do you respond? And that's why that game and that weekend was really a key moment for me.
And speaking of the Ivy League, now that you have the 2 bid, the league is being talked about, what does that say about these mid-major conferences going forward?
It shows hope, I think, for everybody that the NCAA is watching us and the committees are watching us, and that our body of work matters. I think that you need to have these small successes so that every other mid-major program and conference in America can say, hey, we can do that, right? Because it takes somebody to do it first or second for you to believe that, hey, I can do this too, and this is something that can be replicated. You know, I was at Princeton when we got the only other at-large berth in you know, conference history in 2016. And I remember that and how big and monumental that was for our program at the time in the league. And, you know, I can tell you, like, I've had so many, not just Columbia people, but, like, Ivy League people reach out to me talking about, thank you for helping move the needle forward. And, you know, I could say, you know, Gonzaga, Portland, the same thing, for them to do that with their conference. It just, again, it brings hope to everybody. Hey, like, we can do this, but we've got to do the things that are in our control with the scheduling and make sure we're putting ourselves out there in the non-conference as well.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Pepper Persley, you are unmuted.
Hey, Coach. It's so good. Am I muted? Okay.
Good to hear from you.
And congratulations on this. I've been watching this program for so long, and it means so much for me and my whole family to see the success that you're having now. So congratulations on that. My question for you is kind of what do you love about this program and what you've built that you want everyone who will watch the game tomorrow to know about Columbia?
Ooh, yeah, Pepper, great question. Columbia is my home, right? I grew up there, and it's, I walked on campus in 2003, and here we are 21 years later with, the dreams that I had as a player coming true now as a coach, and to know the community is behind me and that these players have really just embodied and embraced all of our cultural standards, I think is the greatest thing. I want everybody to understand. It takes time. It's not easy. It is not easy to win. It is not easy to win over, consecutive years. And, I remember when I first got the job, and I have an alum that joked we were the 400th program out of the 362 in Division I basketball, or however many there are. And we often joke about that now, but it was true. We really came from all the way from the bottom to be here in this moment. So I hope everybody can see that this team is going to play with so much passion for the game and for each other, and you're going to see a work hard, play hard, love hard mentality out there tomorrow. So I just hope everybody can see through our play, what this program is about and how much we love each other and care about each other.
Anything else, Pepper?
No, thank you. Good luck. I look forward to watching the game tomorrow.
Thanks, Pepper.
Okay. That'll do it for us, Megan. That's Megan Griffith, the head coach of the Columbia Lions. The Lions and Vanderbilt tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPNU. This press conference and all press conferences in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us for the first 4 news conferences from Blacksburg.